educating episode of the program Agric Economy on RSM Television, Abuja, Nigeria. I am Khadija Oluwatoyin Amin. This week's episode is taking a new dimension as we will be taking a toll on the need for Agric insurance. Yes, you heard me right, Agric insurance. We've had this topic a long time. I think sometime last year or earlier this year, where we took you down memory lane as the importance of Agric insurance. We want to refresh our memory again this week as we'll take a look at the need for Agric insurance. This time our guest that is going to be doing justice to that topic is the HOD of Agric Economics, the University of Abuja, in the person of Dr. Moradeyo Adebanjo Otitonuju. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
First in first, sir, tell us, what is Agric insurance?
Actual insurance has to do with how to actually mitigate risk, especially in agriculture. And one of the things that can happen in agriculture, because agriculture is a profession that is highly risky, and because of the risky nature of agriculture, there is need to actually see that the risk will not affect actual enterprise, either farming or agribusiness, or some other non-farm, even some other non-farm enterprises in the rural sector. So the essence of it is to ensure that risk and uncertainty do not affect actual production. That is about actual insurance.
Okay, so far, what's the importance of this, especially in large-scale production?
It is important especially in large-scale production, but not just in large-scale production. Even small scale, that is the smallholder farmers, and even those that are in the medium scale, and those in that scale, all of them are actually affected by risk. But you know that the more somebody embark on agriculture in terms of expansion of his land size or his scale, in terms of actually working along the value chain, not just ending in production, going to processing, going to some other aspect of the value chain, you will see that this risk will be more. So that is why when you see people that are actually saying maybe in large scale, it is not just in large scale, but it's very important in large scale because, you know, when large scale production is subjected even to high risk and they are affected, whether by weather or by price in the market, because these are the types of risk that affect agriculture. It can be weather or climate. It can be in terms of the price, that they don't have vagary of price. So this actually affect production. So we can have in terms of production, it could be in terms of marketing, it could be in terms of finance. So some of these risks, they can be mitigated through insurance. They can be mitigated through insurance. And that is why you will see that if such production is affected, you will see that such person will be greatly affected. For example, somebody who has actually gotten finance, there's a loan to embark in some aspect of his production. You will see if this type of thing is affected, this type of farm or a farmer, large-scale farmer is affected, it boils down to not be able to repay the money. That is, it may lead to default in the repayment of the finance or the loan being taken from financial institutions. So you can see now that it is important that agricultural insurance is actually enacted. You will see that even in Nigeria, in some other countries, they have some crop-based actual insurance programs. But in Nigeria, we have in agriculture, we have NAIC, Nigeria Agricultural Incorporation, or Nigeria Agricultural Incorporation. You will see that this company or this corporation, what they are into is to actually address the issue of risk in agriculture. Basically, even when other insurance firms actually address aspect of agriculture, but this one is solely, and it is public inclined. That is, the government is the one that is actually that set this one up to actually mitigate agriculture. You see as well, if it is the one along the value chain, you see NISA recently, Nigeria Insurance Risk Sharing Actual Lending Program. What they do is to actually mitigate, a kind of lending that is the risk that is across the lending to actual enterprise, especially for those along the value chain. So they want to de-risk and be able to address those risks so that it doesn't affect agriculture, because agriculture is basically done as a business. Actually how they manage it is as a result of the insurance they can be able to actually assess.
Okay, looking at that, can you take us through the different type of insurance scheme for, the agricultural sector?
Just like what I've said, in some developing countries, even in our own countries, NIC is solely responsible for actual insurance. They are solely, Nigeria Actual Insurance Corporation. So what they are into is that to be able to look at the various aspects of our agriculture, being it crop or livestock. But basically, you will see that many of our policies, these policies have been there over the years. And if you see these policies that have been there over the years, some of them, it depends on the government in power. What is their priority? And if insurance is not their priority, you see some of these things may be having, a kind of problems in terms of being financed through the budgetary provision of government. So you will see that these are some of the things that happen. Basically, we have actual insurance in terms of the livestock and in terms of crop production in the country. So these are the things that happen.
Okay, so what's your advice? We know that even smallholder farmers, like you said, smallholder farmers should try as well to ensure, their crops and their product and the rest of it. And you see, they will come back and tell you that the insurance companies give them rules. The rules are so much. Some of them are farming in a local land that does not have government papers and the rest of it. What do you think can be done in reducing the laws that binds insurance, for insurance cover for farmers?
Okay, even this you can see, even in finance as well, there are some things that happen in terms of having a kind of what we call collateral in finance. And in this one as well, before their funds can be insured, if there are rules that are supposed to be followed, or the requirements that are supposed to be met before such insurance can be given, especially those that are coming from private sector. Now, you will see one of the things that can be done is that in different areas, just like the risk that is due to, let's say, droughts or whatever, weather that is drought inclined, you will see that government has, over the years, come up with some of the basin development, river basin development authorities, the lower Benue, river basin, upper Benue, Imo, Wiri, Imo, Anambra, Wiri, and this thing, and those of Benue, river basin development authorities. Some of these things have been done, and one of the things that government do is that, okay, we want to see how things that are due to shortage of water in terms of this drought, you see, this time of inadequate water are actually being provided for. And if you go to those areas, farmers are being allocated lands to be able to use for this type of farming activity. But in order, or for farmers that are smallholder farmers that don't even have access to this type of thing and they want to farm on their own, one of the things that can happen is that farmers are encouraged, because many of the things that happen even in some other developing countries or emerging economies of the world, what they do is that farmers actually form themselves into groups. And when they form themselves into groups, they can pool their resources together in terms of, so that they can be able to assess some of these things that have been provided by government. They have access to it through groups. So one of the things that can happen is that if they form themselves into groups, some of these requirements can be easily met. In terms of they register themselves into that groups, they can now pool their resources together. They don't have much money to access it. When they come into groups, they can be able to access. And this will go a long way in ensuring that they have their farming activities as at when due.
Okay, quickly we'll take a quick break. The program is still Agric and we are taking a look at the need for Agric insurance. Stay tuned.
Generally, insurance is a form of risk management used to absorb the shock of unexpected losses. Agricultural producers have series of risks affecting the income and welfare of their household. They are mainly production risks in relation to weather condition, pests and diseases, and market condition. Agricultural insurance is seen as an agreement between where one party insured promised to pay another party insured of a sum of money in the event of loss or damage. The aim of agricultural insurance is the protection of Nigerian farmers against the effect of natural hazard through the operation of a mechanism that ensure an indemnity by way of compensation sufficient to keep the farmers in business after suffering a loss. The objective of agricultural insurance to provide insurance coverage and financial support to farmers in events of natural climate, pests and diseases. Return farmers to business in record time after an unforeseen disaster by stabilizing farmers' income, particularly in disaster year. To encourage the farmer to adopt progressive farming practice and higher technology at any phase of the farming. Encouraging the provision of credits by financial institutes to invest in agriculture to ensure sustainable growth. To promote agricultural production, to minimize and eliminate the need for government, to provide emergency assistance during period of disaster. Scope of coverage for agricultural insurance. Crop insurance. This insurance covered crops such as millet, maize, cowpea, rice, soybeans, yam, cassava, vegetable, Irish potato, sweet potato, melon, groundnuts, cocoa, and especially of annual or short, medium-term gestation period, but do not include tree crops, mostly cash crop, all of which are hybrid and crossbreeded. The policy covers percentage and total loss of farmers' expenditure. Poultry insurance. This policy covers poultry birds, which include layers, broilers, breeders, parent stock and grandparent stock, cockerel, turkey, quail, of which are exotic and crossbreeded. Indigenous and non-descriptive birds should not be insured. The policy covers total loss, and in case of the percentage loss at any particular stage, it must be above the allowed minimum mortality loss of 10% for the poultry type. Fishery insurance. This insurance covers all kinds of fish reared in fish farm through egg pond, tanks, concrete and fibers, but not applicable to brackish water and marine fishes. The coverage of policy is on total loss, and in case the percentage of loss at any particular stage is equal to or exceed 80% of the total population of the fish in the pond, it is treated as total loss. Benefits of agricultural insurance. Agricultural insurance is a policy which involves the farmer paying a little sum, usually in percentage, to an insurance company to guarantee him or her against losses. Assured documentary support leverage to accessing loan and grants. Geographical spread, as the product is easily accessible through any of the offices across the Federation. Free technical assistance and farm advisory service from our agricultural insured personnel. Guarantee continuity in business immediately after a loss through prompt response and clean payment, which is the hallmark. Provision of insurance products tailored made to suit up your specific needs. Problems of agricultural insurance in Nigeria. Low market coverage and insurance penetration. Budgetary constraint, due to low and at times non-payment of premium subsidy, high overhead costs due to the wide nature of coverage. The scheme participation is low due to the financial institution lack of interest in lending to agriculture.
The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria (ARCN) coordinates the activities of research institutes and is responsible for supervision, regulation, coordination of research activities and programs of higher institutions in Nigeria. And Professor Hamidu Shaributu, since assumption as Executive Secretary of ARCN in April 2020, has solidified the transformation of agriculture in Nigeria through strategic and meaningful execution of research fundings for improvement of the agricultural sector.
Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria. We have succeeded in bringing about 32 institutions under this organization. Each of them headed by an executive director or a provost. The provost have the same condition of service and service condition like any vice chancellor or rector in this place. And then the executive directors have equal powers or equal status with me. It's just that I'm supervising them, so they are equivalent to any permanent secretary. So this is who we are. But of interest to you is the number of institutions that cover veterinary-related activities. Actually, all the colleges of agriculture have a training program in animal health and production technology. Some have strictly animal health, some have animal production.
The rubber tree has two major outputs that are useful in the industrial sector as well as other uses. These include the white liquid substance tapped from the rubber tree, which is called latex, and the rubber seeds that are produced from the rubber trees. After the liquid is tapped from the rubber, it can be sold in its liquid form or processed into rubber sheet. To achieve standard of processing of rubber liquid into a more profitable form, the Rubber Research Institute of Nigeria has a rubber latex processing section.
Here is a pilot plant set up by the Rubber Research Institute to encourage through demonstration the value chain addition of our produce. Usually when you tap rubber from the field, as I'm very sure you guys have seen earlier today, it is processed into raw materials that can be consumed by would-be manufacturers who are interested in using natural rubber as a base raw material.
For grains, we have the parabolic solar dryers. These are specialized solar dryers used for drying agricultural produce such as whole grains, yam and cassava chips, fruits and vegetables more efficiently. It is made of a special material that concentrates the rays of the sun within the enclosure while eliminating harmful ultraviolet radiation. Products dried are free from contaminants and are hygienic.
The parabolic shaped solar dryer is a need-based technology because virtually when we travel all over the country, you will see by the roadside, you see people drying all sorts of agricultural produce. Some spread their own on bare ground, and by the time the vehicles are moving, the raised dust, the dust stay on the products. The reptiles will come, they will eat whatever they can eat, drop their feces and their urine on it, and the owner comes in the evening to pack everything together and still eat that product. And the product has been contaminated, and we feel this is not right, And it is part of our mandate to make sure that we set it right, and that was what led to this, so that we can solve this problem at the grassroots level. Instead of drying by the roadside, drying on just bare ground in their villages, when they have this as a drying center, everybody in the community can bring their product there, spread on the tray, and they get it dry under hygienic condition that is covered. And the dryer also have another property to screen the ultraviolet ray of the sun, which is also can cause hazard to human health.
Since then, Professor Shaributu has operated as visionary captain by restoring the council's glory with the first ever agricultural television and radio station in Nigeria, with well-equipped studios parading state-of-the-art equipment.
The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria also has a brand new electronic library to further promote research and visualizations of deep thoughts on agricultural development in Nigeria.
The museum, located in the Senator Abdullahi Adamu Center, is an agricultural museum saddled with the responsibility of keeping records of agricultural findings, discoveries, researches for continuity and history purposes.
Now, this is the museum that we have constructed. We did this museum because we want it to be a source of information for anybody that is coming. Very soon, by the grace of God, the private veterinarians and those in government want to have their data here. And why we want it is because anybody that has interest in sponsoring any form of research or wants to do activities, once you come and click, the data of all the veterinarians will be reflected here. And I'm talking about where they are doing, how they are faring, and what are their organizations, so that we'll be able to give people, feed people the information at one point.
The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria is wearing a new look under the stewardship of Professor Garba Hamidu Shaributu, who says, "Alone I am nothing, but together I am something." ARCN,
promoting agriculture.
It's still the program Agric Economy on ARCN Television, Abuja, Nigeria, and we have been talking to our guest and the person of Dr. Moradeyo Advert, who has been telling us what should be done in the advent of a farmer trying to get insurance cover. And he has said it that smallholder farmers and as well as whether medium or large scale farmers also need to get themselves and their farms insured in case there is need for it in the future. We've said all of this. We know that we have the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance company and the rest of it. But then, most farmers will come out to tell you that the monies that are accessible to them is very little. Just last administration, we have the last Minister of Agriculture, in collaboration with Bank of Agriculture, say that farmers can come over for loans and the rest. These monies is not as are being collected yet. Most of these farmers may not have insurance cover. What's your advice?
Okay, one of the things that happen in this is that government has different programs in place and schemes. For example, we have Nigerian Insurance Guarantee, that's the Nigerian Insurance Credit Guarantee Scheme, and there's a fund that this scheme provides. What it's all about is that 70% of any loan that is being taken through this very scheme will be guaranteed by government, so that if they cannot be able to pay, that was the original plan of this. And you know that when we're talking about insurance per se may not be to even provide money. Okay, when there is, as only there is fire outbreak and it affects the farm, and such farm has, you know, an insurance cover, you know, they will value whatever it has been, so that such farmer will not lose what he has actually been farming on, and things like that. But in some places, what they do is this. For example, if a farmer has insured, let's say, part of his enterprise, he has, let's say, utility vehicle that he has been using, he has a tractor, and there is a case of an accident, and it's already established by the insurance people, then they can now be able to replace for the farmer, so that for such farmer to continue engaging himself in the production or in the agri activities, they will ensure this is there. But you know, in this part of the world, one of the things that happen is this, especially when you are making contribution to insurance. You made the first year, the person say nothing happened and his money is not gone, he say nothing happened. Some people may easily give up, not knowing that what you are doing is that if there is such thing will happen, you have a cover, so that you don't lose what you actually been doing over the years, or what you are depending on for as a means of livelihood. So these are the things, not just that, you know, for smallholder farmers, yeah, he's talking about maybe it's a subsistence level, but as not just at subsistence level. One of my students that worked on commercialization of paddy rice last year. One of the factors that we look at is to look at agri-insurance. Those that have access to agri-insurance, how does it influence their level of commercialization in terms of the volume that they sell from what they produce? Does it actually have a kind of effect on such? So this is one of the things that happen in agriculture, and we discover that access to insurance has, you know, positive effect on commercialization. It has positive effect on the volume of paddy rice that the farmers sell, especially in FCT. We work on it in FCT here. So there is this part of the things that supposed to be done. But you know that the Bank of Agriculture, which actually provide financing purposely for agricultural enterprises, and we see that some of these things are very, very, very necessary. But you know, one of the things that affect us in this part of the world, one, is the way we approach our agriculture, the way we approach things, the programs, the policies that actually has, you know, that's supposed to have effect, or that's supposed to enhance the actual production. And these are some of the things that we have to look into. Government has to look into this. Those that are in the private sector that are actually enabling them some interventions that's supposed to take place can help in actually mitigating the risk in agriculture, which one of them is actual insurance.
All right, thank you very much for coming on the program, sir. On that note, to wrap it up on agri economy of this week, join us again same time, same station next week. I am Khadija Oluwatoyin. I'm saying thank you for watching.